evening. We had a very fruitful, good meeting with the foreign ministers and all the 28 member states on the EU-US relations. Not an extraordinary meeting, simply an informal dinner before we start tomorrow morning early with our own formal agenda. I can say there is unity among all the 28 on the need, first of all, to continue working on the strength of the transatlantic relation. The European Union and the United States are partners and will continue to be partners for what concerns us in the European Union, based on our own values, principles, interests, and also we discussed the need to strengthen the European unity around some key issues that will be even more crucial in the months to come. First of all, the need to work on the multilateral system. For us, it's extremely important to work on the climate change agreement implementation, but also on non-proliferation and the protection of the Iranian nuclear deal, but also on trade and all the crises we have around us, on which during these last 8 years we worked very well together with the United States, and we are looking forward to a very strong partnership with the next administration. We've decided together to engage with the incoming administration even from this very first weeks of transition. Obviously, we will continue to work day and night with the current administration, but also preparing the ground for the change in administration from January. And obviously I will be glad to not only visit Washington soon, but also invite the future Secretary of State to one of our next Foreign Affairs Council. As I said, unity, consensus around the table on the need to develop these two tracks, investing in the EU-US strong partnership, protecting and preserving it, but also strengthening the European policies and actions in an independent manner, based on our consolidated policies and positions. And as you know very well, tomorrow with the foreign and also defense ministers, we will be deciding on security and defense from the European perspective in cooperation with NATO. This is obviously one thing that was on the table before the US elections and has even more reasons to stay on our table today. All 28 member states were represented around the table. A couple of ministers were not present. One or two could not make it for agenda reasons. For instance, the French minister, Jean-Marc Ayrault, called me this morning to excuse his absence. He's receiving Guterres early tomorrow morning in Paris. And obviously this is also a very important thing to do now from the European perspective, to guarantee that the EU-UN relationship, partnership, common work is even intensified, so we agreed that it was much better for him to stay in Paris and meet the future Secretary General of the United Nations. Ministers were all there. A couple of ministers were not coming for political reasons, one in particular, you know that well, but I can also share with you that some ministers were not some ministers, but some in Europe are surprised not when that country is absent, but nowadays that is still present around the table of the 28. So I guess it's only normal for a country that has decided to leave the European Union not to be so interested in our discussion on the future of our relations with the United States.
Are there any worries about the relationship with the US in the future, as all these changes that are probably coming with President Trump?
The key word here is probably. We have shared ideas, but we all agree on the fact that we will need to see which are going to be the policies of the next administration. We see they are still, let's say, to be defined. Obviously, we will see what will be the foreign policy agenda of the next administration. But for the moment, it's not a wait-and-see attitude we can afford having, because the world goes on, Europe goes on, crisis goes on, but also opportunities we can take go on. And so we need to continue working. It's not up to us, but it's going to be up to the next US administration to define their own positions. We have clear in mind what our positions are, both in terms of EU interests and in terms of EU principles, Among this interest is for sure the need to work together with the Americans. But again, it will be up to them to determine their own foreign policy agenda. And we will be respectfully...
Do you think that Donald Trump's comments about European defense spending give your agenda on defense cooperation a little push forward? And what are your worries about the Iran deal?
On defense, you know that my proposals were put on the table during the summer already. I see the need for Europeans to strengthen their security and defense agenda and cooperation regardless of changes in the administration in the United States. It is indeed very timely that we discuss these decisions and take these decisions already tomorrow. But again, this would have been true with any kind of administration, I believe. It could be, we'll see what kind of determinations the next administration will take on defense, but it could be more relevant in the future. In any case, this is something it's in our interest to do. And on Iran, let me tell you very clearly, I've stated this already, this is not a bilateral agreement, this is a multilateral agreement endorsed by a UN Security Council resolution. So it's our European interest, but it's also a UN somehow interest and duty to guarantee that the agreement is implemented in full for the whole duration of the agreement, which is 10 years. And we have, and I have personally, a specific role to guarantee that this is done by all sides. And for sure, this is a European interest. So we'll take that as one of the key elements that will not change for sure. As I said, there are some key issues on which the European interest is very clear, common. There is no doubt about that. The climate change agreement is one of those. The implementation of the Iranian deal on nuclear, and in general, our non-proliferation work for our own security. It's very important, but also our common work on migration. We just started in the UN framework in September at the General Assembly a global compact to share responsibility globally on managing the migratory and refugee flows. We as Europeans believe that we need to share responsibility around the world on this. This will be clear basis for a EU engagement with all our partners. Obviously, the United States are, for us, a key, indispensable partner. But again, we will not determine ourselves the agenda of the United States in the next administration. We will have to see what the next president will determine as his own foreign and security agenda. Our own agenda is clear.
And you
Thank you.
No sense with Russia from the EU side. If there's an approximation between the new administration with Russia, could this in turn help the EU? And could you give us some thoughts on the proposition of Italy to have a Schengen defense with a core
on defense, we talk more tomorrow. Also because we will meet again tomorrow a couple of times. On Russia, the European Union has a very principled position on the illegal annexation of Crimea and the situation in Ukraine. This is not going to change regardless of possible shifts in others' policies. But on the other side, we talk with Russia and we work with Russia on many different things, including, for instance, the Iran deal, where we worked wonderfully well together, or the Middle East peace process, or Libya, counterterrorism. To some extent, on Syria, we have worked together in the international support group for Syria, even if our positions are very different on some issues, but on some others coincide. So I would invite you to avoid any black and white representation of our relationship with Russia. On one side, there is dialogue and engagement, what we call constructive but also selective engagement on some issues. On the other side, there is a strong principled position, especially on Ukraine and on the other conflicts that we have to our east. And our attention to our eastern partners is going to stay and stay strong. We'll talk about that with the ministers tomorrow in our official agenda. And this is not going to change for sure in the European Union. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Noi abbiamo fatto una buona riunione con i ministri degli esteri, tutti e 28 i Paesi membri presenti, su non la crisi dei rapporti con gli Stati Uniti e tutt'altro, ma per condividere qual è in questo momento l'interesse dell'Europa, e ci siamo trovati tutti d'accordo come europei nell'indicare innanzitutto nell'interesse dell'Europa quello di avere rapporti stretti con gli Stati Uniti, anche con un cambio di amministrazione. Dipenderà ovviamente dal prossimo Presidente degli Stati Uniti determinare la sua propria agenda di politica estera, che ancora sembra essere in divenire, quindi non anticiperemo di certo le sue scelte, non sta all'Europa determinare la politica estera degli Stati Uniti. Aspetteremo quali saranno le indicazioni del nuovo Presidente una volta che sarà insediato, ma certamente è nell'interesse dell'Unione Europea stabilire, anzi investire, continuare a investire in un forte lavoro insieme a Washington, continuare su molti dossier, ma sulla base di interessi, principi, valori molto chiari, che sono i nostri valori e i nostri interessi europei, dall'accordo sul clima al commercio, dalla realizzazione piena e completa dell'accordo con l'Iran sul nucleare, alla condivisione della responsabilità globale sui fenomeni migratori. Il nostro interesse è chiaramente quello di garantire che gli europei abbiano a Washington degli interlocutori con i quali lavorare, ma sulla base delle nostre priorità, che sono molto chiare. Aspetteremo di capire il prossimo Presidente come determinerà la propria agenda di priorità. Nel frattempo continuiamo a lavorare con l'amministrazione esistente, ma abbiamo anche deciso che inizieremo a lavorare con il Transition Team a Washington già da queste settimane. Io sarò felice di invitare il prossimo segretario di Stato americano ad una riunione dei ministri degli esteri dell'Unione Europea appena sarà insediato. Partnership, continuare a lavorare insieme, ma sulla base di idee politiche molto chiare, sulla base degli interessi e dei valori europei.
Siete d'accordo su quale segnale inviare alla nuova amministrazione americana?
Sì, quello di una forte amicizia, di una forte volontà di partenariato che continua, ma appunto sulla base di principi, valori e interessi europei molto chiari.
C'è l'Europa della difesa che sembra uscire paradossalmente rafforzata da questo risultato elettorale negli Stati Uniti, perché negli Stati Uniti si parla di un disimpegno, di un inizio di disimpegno. C'è questa volontà di rafforzare l'Europa della difesa, si è sentita questa sera? E poi una seconda domanda: in questa Europa della difesa ci sarà comunque il Regno Unito anche se c'è la Brexit?
Di questo parleremo domani ufficialmente. Come sapete, domani pomeriggio avremo presiderò un incontro tra tutti i ministri degli esteri e della difesa dell'Unione Europea, compresa la Gran Bretagna, per adottare un piano per la difesa e la sicurezza dell'Unione Europea. Quindi ne parleremo meglio domani. Sicuramente questa è un'esigenza per l'Europa, per i cittadini europei, che non nasce dopo le elezioni americane, c'era anche prima. Io ho avviato questo percorso ancora prima dell'estate. È chiaramente ancora più importante oggi che l'Europa riesca a fare la propria parte per la sicurezza dei propri cittadini in modo più efficace. Oltretutto oggi è un triste anniversario per la sicurezza europea, il dramma degli attentati a Parigi di un anno fa. Proprio un anno fa, esattamente un anno fa, ci eravamo promessi come europei di lavorare per rafforzare il nostro lavoro comune sulla sicurezza dei nostri cittadini. Una gran parte di questo lavoro spetta chiaramente ai ministri dell'interno, alla parte di politiche che possiamo adottare all'interno della nostra Unione, ma c'è un lavoro che possiamo fare all'esterno dei nostri confini, sia sul versante della difesa sia sul versante della sicurezza, che è ora di fare, e le proposte che metterò sul tavolo domani sono esattamente in questa direzione. Grazie, buon lavoro.